Before we dive in, please remember that this presentation is for informational and educational purposes only. I am not a lawyer, a financial advisor, or a licensed therapist. The information shared in this video is not a substitute for professional legal, financial, or psychological advice. Every divorce situation is unique. Please consult with qualified professionals for guidance specific to your circumstances. The 4 words that ended my world weren't shouted in anger. They were delivered in a quiet, sterile whisper across the kitchen island. "I don't love you." And then the follow-up that sealed it. "I want a divorce." In that moment, the entire 15-year movie of my life, the first date, the wedding, the birth of our 2 kids, the house we bought, the dog we rescued, it all just stopped. The film snapped. The projector went dark. And I was left sitting in a silent, empty theater that used to be my life. The floor didn't just fall out from under me. The entire planet vanished. All that was left was me, floating in a cold, black vacuum, with those words echoing over and over. For any man who has heard a version of those words, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just a breakup. It's an amputation of your identity. Suddenly, 1,000 questions crash down on you at once, each one sharper and more terrifying than the last. Where am I going to sleep tonight? Next week? Next month? How do I tell the kids? How do I look them in the eye and tell them their world is being split in two and I couldn't stop it? Will they blame me? Will they hate me? God, will I even get to see them? The fear of becoming a weekend dad, a visitor in your own children's lives, is a physical pain. Then comes the financial avalanche. How am I going to afford 2 households on one salary? The lawyers, the court fees, child support, alimony. You start doing the math in your head and it feels like you're staring at the budget for a small nation's defense program. You see a future of ramen noodles and a sad, empty apartment with a single folding chair. And beneath all that practical panic is the deep, gut-wrenching shame, the feeling of failure. You were supposed to be the protector, the provider, the rock. You were supposed to hold it all together. And you didn't. You see the pity in your friends' eyes, the disappointment in your parents' faces. You feel like you've let down every single person who ever counted on you, most of all your kids. If any of that sounds familiar, if you are currently in that storm, or if you're just coming out of it and looking at the wreckage, I need you to listen to me very carefully. This is not just another video telling you to hang in there or man up. This is not a sympathy session. This is a playbook. This is a strategic guide, a step-by-step roadmap for not just surviving the single greatest crisis of your adult life, but for using it as a catalyst to build a better, stronger, more authentic version of yourself. We are going to transform you from a victim of your circumstances into the architect of your new life. We are going to take the label of divorced dad, which society often slaps on you like a warning sticker, and we are going to redefine it. You won't be a divorced dad. You will be a dad, a phenomenal, present, and powerful father who just happens to be divorced. That is the mission. Let's be brutally honest. The world has a very specific and frankly pathetic image of the divorced dad. He's either the bumbling, sad-sack character from a 90s movie, trying to figure out how to use a washing machine and burning frozen pizza for his kids every other weekend. Or he's the deadbeat, the guy who disappears, shirks his responsibilities, and becomes a ghost in his children's lives. Or maybe he's the bitter, angry guy, poisoning his kids against their mother, trapped in a cycle of resentment and court battles. These stereotypes are suffocating. They're lazy, and they are a lie. They are a narrative we are going to systematically dismantle and destroy in your life. You are not a cliché. You are not a statistic. You are a man at a crossroads, and you have the power to choose a different path. A path of strength, integrity, and exceptional fatherhood. This series is your compass and your map for that journey. I know this because I walked that path. That guy in the kitchen, feeling the world evaporate around him? That was me. I made almost every mistake you can make. I wallowed in self-pity. I spent months fighting battles that couldn't be won, fueled by anger and ego. I let lawyers dictate my relationship with my own children. I ate garbage, stopped working out, and isolated myself from the people who cared about me. I became a ghost of the man I used to be. And one day my daughter, who was 7 at the time, looked at me in my messy temporary apartment and asked, "Daddy, are you ever going to be happy again?" That was my rock bottom. That was the moment I realized this wasn't about me and my broken heart anymore. It was about them. It was about the man, the father they needed me to be. So I stopped being a victim and I started to study. I read every book, talked to every expert, therapists, lawyers, financial planners, other successful co-parents. I treated rebuilding my life like it was the most important job I ever had. And I clawed my way back, mistake by mistake, lesson by lesson. I built a system, a set of principles and actions that not only saved me, but made my life and my relationship with my kids better and more intentional than it ever was before. I made the mistakes so you don't have to. I took the punches so you can learn to duck. Over the course of this series, we're going to arm you for every single battle you will face. First, we're going to secure your base of operations. This isn't just about finding a place to live. It's about building a new home, a sanctuary for you and your kids that feels like a launch pad, not a prison. We will tackle the mental war zone, rewiring your mindset from one of loss and failure to one of opportunity and growth. Then we will march onto the financial battlefield. We're not just going to talk about budgeting. We're going to create a financial war plan that protects your assets, maximizes your income, and builds a secure future for you and your children. We will become masters of communication, learning the almost superhuman skill of co-parenting with someone you may no longer like or even respect. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about strategic, effective communication that keeps you out of court and keeps your kids out of the middle. We will demystify the legal system, so you understand your rights and responsibilities and can work with your attorney as a partner, not just a passenger. We will then focus on rebuilding you, the man. We'll get your health back, rebuild your social circle with a brotherhood of supportive men, and rediscover the hobbies and passions you let die during your marriage. And yes, eventually we will talk about dating, but we're going to do it the right way, from a position of strength and wholeness, not from a place of desperation or loneliness. But above all else, the central pillar of this entire journey is your relationship with your kids. We are going to forge a bond with them that is stronger and deeper than you ever thought possible. You will learn how to be the calm in their storm, the stability in their chaos. You will become the most reliable, most present, most engaged father you can be. You won't be the fun weekend dad. You will be their hero, their coach, their confidant, their rock. The man they look up to, not because you're perfect, but because you faced the fire, and you walked out of it stronger. The life you had is over. That chapter is closed. And grieving that loss is necessary. But what you have to understand is that the end of that story is the beginning of a new one. And this time you are the sole author. You get to decide what happens next. The question is no longer, why did this happen to me? The only question that matters now is, who do I want to become? Let's begin building that man right now. The first 90 days. In any new high-stakes role, a new CEO, a new president, a military commander taking over a new post, the first 90 days are considered the most critical. They set the tone. They establish the strategy. They determine the trajectory for everything that follows. And that's exactly what this is. You are the new CEO of your own life. And the company you were running has just been split in two. The assets have been divided, the board is in disarray, and your primary shareholders, your children, are scared and confused. This is your first 90 days. And right now, you're standing in what feels like the middle of a war zone. Let's call it what it is, the fog of war. Your vision is blurred. There's a constant ringing in your ears from the explosion that just went off in your life. You're disoriented. Every direction looks the same, and every direction looks hostile. Your heart is pounding with a cocktail of fear, rage, and a grief so profound it feels like a physical weight on your chest. You're sleeping in a strange bed. Maybe it's a couch at your buddy's place, a sterile corporate apartment, or the spare room at your parents' house, surrounded by the ghosts of your childhood. Your phone is a landmine. Every text message, every email could be another explosion. A logistical nightmare from your ex-wife, a bill you can't afford, a picture from a friend's Instagram of their happy, intact family that feels like a stab to the gut. In this fog, your instincts are screaming at you to just do something. To fill the deafening silence of a home that used to be filled with the sound of your kids playing. This is the most dangerous moment. Because the void, that gaping black hole where your family life used to be, is desperate to be filled. And it will gladly be filled with the easiest, most destructive things available. It will be filled with an extra beer after work, which turns into 6. It will be filled with endless scrolling on your phone until 3 a.m. It will be filled with swiping right on dating apps, looking for a temporary fix of validation to prove you're still desirable, a temporary body to quiet the loneliness. It will be filled with working 80-hour weeks to avoid the crushing emptiness of your new apartment. These are not solutions. They are anchors. They will hold you in the fog and pull you under. Our mission in these first 90 days is not to fix everything. It's not to find a new partner, or get a revenge body, or prove to your ex what a mistake she made. That's ego. That's noise. Our mission is singular, to build a new foundation on solid ground, brick by painful brick. To stabilize the structure so we can begin to build upwards. And we do that by focusing on 3 non-negotiable pillars. Pillar number 1. Secure your base of operations. Right now, wherever you are sleeping is likely just a place to crash. Doesn't feel like home. It feels like a temporary holding cell. This has to change immediately. Your environment dictates your mindset. If you live in a place of chaos and depression, you will feel chaotic and depressed. You must, with the urgency of a soldier securing a forward operating base, turn your new space into a sanctuary. I don't care if it's a tiny 1-bedroom apartment or a basement rental. This is your command center. First, make it ruthlessly clean and organized. A cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. Do the laundry. Make the bed the second your feet hit the floor in the morning. This isn't about housekeeping. It's a declaration of control. It's you telling the universe, I may not control the storm outside, but I am the absolute master of this domain. Second, make it yours. Don't live out of boxes. Unpack. Buy a new set of sheets. Get a plant. Get a coffee maker that you actually like. Frame 1 or 2 photos of you and your kids having a great time. This is critical. This space is not a sad monument to your failed marriage. It is the launchpad for your new life. And most importantly, it needs to be a safe, welcoming, and exciting place for your kids. When they come over, it shouldn't feel like they're visiting dad in his sad little room. It should feel like a second home. Their home. Buy their favorite cereal. Get them a new blanket for the couch. Let them help you pick out a poster for the wall. Your base of operations is not just for you. It is the embassy for the most important relationship in your life, the one with your children. Pillar number 2. Fortify your physical self. Your body and your mind are not separate entities. They are a single integrated system. And right now, that system is under the most extreme stress it has ever endured. The stress hormone cortisol is likely flooding your system. It's destroying your sleep, killing your focus, and making you irritable and emotionally volatile. You cannot think your way out of a physiological crisis. You have to act your way out. We're going to treat this like special forces training. We focus on the 3 fundamentals: sleep, movement, and fuel. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a weapon. You must be religious about it. Aim for 7 to 8 hours a night. This will be hard. Your mind will race. But you have to create a ritual. No screens an hour before bed. Read a book. Meditate for 10 minutes. Make your room as dark and cool as possible. Good sleep is what will allow your brain to process the trauma and reset for the next day. Without it, you're fighting a battle with no ammunition. Movement is non-negotiable. I'm not telling you to go train for a marathon. I'm telling you to put on your shoes and walk outside for 30 minutes every single day. Rain or shine. The simple act of moving your body, getting sunlight in your eyes, and changing your environment will do more for your mental state than 6 hours of ruminating on the couch. It releases endorphins. It burns off cortisol. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. It is you physically moving forward. Fuel. Your body is a machine under siege. You wouldn't put sugar in the gas tank of a high-performance engine. So stop putting garbage into your body. I know it's easy to live on pizza and fast food right now. Don't. Focus on 2 things. Drink more water than you think you need and eat real whole foods. Protein, vegetables, fruits. This isn't about getting shredded. This is about giving your brain the nutrients it needs to function clearly, and giving your body the energy to withstand the emotional onslaught. Your kids need a dad who is a lighthouse in this storm, strong, stable, and reliable. A lighthouse is built on a foundation of solid rock, not quicksand. Your physical health is that rock. Pillar number 3. Establish the new rules of engagement. Your relationship with your ex-wife is over. But if you have children, your partnership with your co-parent has just begun. This is one of the hardest mental shifts to make, but it is the most crucial for your long-term sanity and for the well-being of your kids. You must transition your communication from that of estranged lovers to that of professional business partners. The business, the successful raising of your children. Your ex is no longer your confidant, your friend, or your emotional punching bag. She is your business partner, and you must communicate with her as such. This means all communication should be stripped of emotion and focused exclusively on logistics. The rule is simple. If it's not about the kids' schedule, health, or schooling, it does not belong in a text or an email. No more late-night, multi-paragraph texts rehashing old fights. No more passive-aggressive jabs. No more trying to win the conversation. I want you to create a new protocol. Use a shared calendar app like Google Calendar for all scheduling. It's neutral territory. It removes the need for constant back-and-forth texting about pickup times and doctor's appointments. For communication, stick to email or a designated parenting app. This creates a buffer. It gives you time to read a message, process it, and respond logically, not emotionally. Keep your responses short, informative, and polite. Think of how you'd email a colleague you don't particularly like, but have to work with on an important project. That's the tone. Confirming I'll pick up Sarah at 4 p.m. on Friday. Thanks. That's it. This isn't about being cold or robotic. It's about creating a firewall. You are protecting your own emotional energy, which is a finite and precious resource right now. And you are protecting your children from the conflict. They don't need to see you two fight. They need to see you two function. By treating your co-parenting like a business, you are prioritizing the product, your kids' stability and happiness, over your personal feelings. It is the ultimate act of mature fatherhood, securing your base, fortifying your body, redefining the rules of engagement. These are not glamorous tasks. They are the grunt work. They are the lonely, uncelebrated actions you take in the quiet moments when no one is watching. But they are everything. They are how you stop the free fall. They are how you begin to punch through the fog of war and see the horizon again. This is how you stop being the man that this divorce happened to, and start becoming the man who is building something new, something stronger on the other side of it. But this foundation, this stability, it's all for a higher purpose. It's to prepare you for the most important and most challenging mission of your life, showing up as the father your children need right now, because they are in the storm with you. And how you navigate it, how you talk to them, how you rebuild their sense of security, that will echo for the rest of their lives. And that's the most terrifying thought, isn't it? That single gut-wrenching realization that your actions, your words, your very presence during this crisis will shape the little people you love more than life itself. It's a weight that can crush you. You lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations in your head. What do I say? How do I say it? How do I tell my kids that their world, the only world they've ever known, is about to be split in two without shattering them in the process? This isn't just a conversation. It's a defining moment. It's the talk that every divorcing parent dreads more than the lawyers, more than the paperwork, more than telling their own parents. Because in this moment, you're not just a man dealing with the end of his marriage. You are the co-author of your child's core memory, a memory they will carry with them forever. And the pressure to get it right feels impossible. Let's be brutally honest. There are no magic words. There is no perfect script that will make the pain disappear. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. The goal isn't to erase their hurt. The goal is to hold them through it. It's to build a bridge of trust over a chasm of uncertainty. And the first planks of that bridge are laid with radical honesty and unwavering love. So how do we do it? The first, and arguably the most difficult step, is to present a united front. If it is humanly possible, if your situation doesn't involve abuse or extreme conflict that makes it unsafe, you must have this conversation with your soon-to-be ex-wife. I know, for some of you listening, that sounds like being asked to walk on hot coals. The tension might be so thick you could cut it with a knife. You might not have been in the same room without arguing for months or even years. But you have to try. You have to swallow your pride, your anger, and your hurt for 30 minutes. Because what your children need to see more than anything else in that moment is that you are still a team when it comes to them. They need to see that even though mom and dad are changing their relationship with each other, their relationship as parents is unbreakable. When you sit down together on the same couch and deliver the same core message, you are non-verbally screaming to your children. You are safe. We are still your parents. We are in this together for you. Doing it separately or worse, letting one parent be the bad guy, creates a fracture. It forces them to choose sides. It pits you against each other and puts the kids in the middle of a war zone. Don't do that to them. They are not soldiers in your conflict. They are the civilians you both swore to protect. The second piece is the message itself. Kids don't need the gory details. They don't need to know who said what, who is unhappy, or whose fault it is. That's adult business. Trying to explain it to them is like trying to explain quantum physics to a dog. They won't get it and it will just scare them. Their world is simple. Mom and dad are my foundation. Your job is to tell them that the foundation is being remodeled, not demolished. Your message needs to be built on 4 clear, simple, and endlessly repeatable pillars. Number 1, and you will say this until you are blue in the face. This is not your fault. Kids are fundamentally egocentric. It's not a flaw, it's how they're wired. When something bad happens in their universe, their first instinct is to assume they caused it. Was it because I didn't clean my room? Because I got a bad grade? Because I was loud? You have to get in front of that self-blame with the force of a tidal wave. Look them in the eye and say it. Nothing you did or said or thought caused this. This is a grown-up problem between mom and me. You are perfect. We love you. Say it at the beginning, say it in the middle, and say it at the end. And say it again next week. Number 2. Mom and dad both love you more than anything in the world, and that love will never ever change. They need to hear that your love for them is a constant in a world that has suddenly become full of variables. Your marriage is ending, but your role as their father is permanent. It's non-negotiable. It is forever. Number 3. Even though we won't be married to each other anymore, we will always be your family. This redefines the concept of family for them. It's not about 2 parents under one roof. It's about the unbreakable bond you all share. We will always be your mom and your dad. We will both be at your soccer games. We will both be there for your birthday. We are still a family, it's just going to look a little different. And number 4. Give them permission to feel their feelings. Say it out loud. It is okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry or confused. We're sad too. Whatever you're feeling is okay, and you can always talk to us about it. This opens the door. It tells them they don't have to put on a brave face for you. It validates their emotional reality, which is the greatest gift you can give someone whose physical reality is falling apart. Of course, the message has to be age-appropriate. For a 5-year-old, you keep it incredibly simple. You know how sometimes friends argue and decide they can't play together as well anymore? Well, mommy and daddy have decided that it's better for us to live in different houses, so we can be better friends and better parents to you. For a teenager, you can be a little more direct, but the same rules apply. No blame, no adult details. Your mother and I have grown apart and we've decided we can't be married anymore. We both tried very hard to fix things, but it's not working. This is about our relationship and it has nothing to do with you. We both love you, and we're both going to be here for you 100%. After you deliver the core message, be prepared for the practical questions. Because that's where their minds go immediately. Where am I going to live? Do I have to change schools? What about my dog? Will I still see my friends? This is where having a plan is critical. You and your ex need to have, at the very least, a temporary plan for the next few weeks or months. For right now, you're going to keep living here with mom, and dad is going to get a new apartment very close by. You'll spend weekends with dad, and we'll call you every single night. Nothing is changing about your school or your friends. Giving them concrete answers to these logistical questions provides an anchor in a swirling sea of emotion. It gives them something solid to hold on to. And remember, this isn't a one-time press conference. It's the beginning of a dialogue. There will be more questions in the car, at bedtime, months or even years later. Your job is to keep that door open, to prove with your actions that what you said in that first talk was true, that you are available, that you are safe, that their feelings are welcome. I know a guy who, by his own admission, completely botched the initial talk. It was cold, awkward, and his kids just stared at him blankly. He felt like a total failure. But he didn't give up. Instead, he made it his mission to be relentlessly available. He started checking in, not with big formal, "How are you feeling about the divorce talks," but in the small moments. While tossing a football, while driving to get ice cream, he'd just say, "Hey, I know this is all still weird. Just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." For weeks, he got nothing. Then one day, his daughter just unloaded, right there in the car. All her fears, all her anger. And he just listened. He didn't fix it. He just listened and said, "I hear you. Thank you for telling me. I love you." That was the real beginning of their healing. You've planted the seeds of security with your words. Now you have to water them with your actions. Because the day after the talk and the day after that is when you start building their new reality brick by painful, hopeful brick. And the first blueprint you need to master is the one that involves your new co-pilot, your ex. This is, without a doubt, one of the hardest psychological shifts you will ever have to make. Because this person who you once shared a bed with, a life with, a future with, is now your business partner. And the business? It's the most important venture you will ever be a part of. raising your children. The company is called Our Kids, Incorporated, and you and she are the co-hosts for life. The marriage contract may be dissolved, but the parenting contract is permanent. And just like any business partnership, it requires a completely different set of rules than a romantic one. The old dynamics of emotional arguments, of trying to be right, of dredging up the past, they are not just unhelpful, they are toxic to the new enterprise. They are poison to the company's bottom line. And the bottom line is your children's well-being. So the first rule of this new partnership is this: check your ego at the door. I mean it. Take all the hurt, the anger, the resentment, the feeling of being wronged, and put it in a box. You can deal with that box later, and you must deal with it, but you cannot bring it into the boardroom. The boardroom is any text, any email, any phone call, any doorstep exchange that involves the kids. In this new dynamic, your goal is no longer to win an argument with your ex. Your goal is to achieve the best outcome for your children. Let that sink in. It's a game changer. It means you might have to concede a point you know you're right about. You might have to bite your tongue so hard it bleeds. You might have to be the bigger person over and over and over again, even when you feel like you're the one who's been wrong the most. Why? Because you're not doing it for her. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for the silent shareholders of your company, your kids. So how do you do this practically? You start by establishing professional communication protocols. The free-flowing, all-hours, emotionally charged communication of a marriage is over. You need to replace it with something structured, something boring. Let me introduce you to your new best friend. It's a communication strategy used in high-conflict situations called BIF. It stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. Every single text or email you send to your ex should be filtered through these 4 letters. Let's break it down. First, brief. Think 3 to 5 sentences max. Your goal is not to write a novel explaining your feelings. Your goal is to convey information. Long emails invite long, emotional responses. They open the door for old arguments to creep back in. Keep it short. Keep it clean. Second, informative. This is the most important part. Your communication should be about logistics and facts, not feelings and accusations. Stick to the what, where, when, and who. For example, instead of writing, it would be nice if you remembered that Sarah has her big soccer tournament this weekend, something I've told you about 3 times. You write, hi, quick reminder that Sarah's soccer tournament is this Saturday at 10 a.m. at City Park. I'll be taking her, but she'd love to see you there if you can make it. See the difference? One is an accusation wrapped in a reminder. The other is pure, useful information. Third, friendly. This one can feel impossible, especially in the beginning. Friendly doesn't mean you have to be fake friends. It doesn't mean you have to ask about her new life or pretend you're happy. It simply means maintaining a basic, civil, professional tone. Start with a hi or hope you're having a good week. End with a thanks or best. It's the equivalent of a polite handshake in a business meeting. It costs you nothing, but it greases the wheels of communication and prevents the engine from seizing up. It signals that this interaction is about the business at hand, not about relitigating the past. And finally, firm. This is where you protect your boundaries. Firm doesn't mean aggressive or demanding. It means stating your position or decision clearly and calmly, without leaving a lot of wiggle room for an argument. For instance, if your ex wants to change the schedule at the last minute and you can't accommodate it, you don't say, that's so typical, you always do this, you never think about my schedule. You say, thanks for letting me know, but unfortunately I can't change my plans on such short notice. I can stick to our original schedule. That's it. It's a clear, polite no. You've stated your position. The conversation is over. You don't need to justify, argue, defend, or explain. You are a co-CEO, and that is your decision. Applying the BIF model to every single interaction will feel robotic at first. It will feel unnatural. Good. Supposed to. You are deprogramming years of a different kind of communication and programming a new, more effective one. The next protocol is to establish business hours. Unless it is a genuine blood and broken bones emergency involving your child, there is no reason for you and your ex to be texting at 10 p.m. about a scheduling issue for next month. Agree on a specific method and time for communication. Maybe it's a weekly email on Sunday night to coordinate the week ahead. Maybe it's a shared Google Calendar for all the kids' activities. Maybe it's a dedicated co-parenting app. The tool doesn't matter as much as the principle. You are containing the communication. You are creating boundaries that protect your own peace of mind. You don't have to live in a state of constant low-grade anxiety, waiting for the next text to pop up and ruin your evening. Now what happens when, not if but when, a conflict explodes? What happens when she sends you that triggering text that hits all your buttons? You use the 24-hour rule. Unless the issue requires an immediate response for the child's safety, you do not respond for 24 hours. You read the message. You feel the anger, the frustration, the injustice. You let it all wash over you. You go for a run. You call a trusted friend and vent. You write a furious, scathing reply in a draft email that you will never ever send. You do whatever you need to do to get that initial reactive emotion out of your system. Then the next day, when your head is clear, you reread her message and you sit down to write your BIF response. Brief, informative, friendly, firm. You'll be amazed at how a little time and space can transform a potential World War III into a minor logistical problem that can be solved. This entire approach is built on one non-negotiable foundation. You never put the kids in the middle. Ever. They are not messengers. They are not spies. They are not your confidants. You don't complain about their mom to them. You don't ask them to relay information. You don't make them pick sides. Your business is your business. Your kids just get to enjoy the benefits of a well-run company. They should have no idea how the sausage is made. All they know is that they have two parents who love them, who can be in the same room for a birthday party, who can coordinate a doctor's appointment without a fight. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about being a diplomat. It's not about forgiveness, at least not yet. It's about function. You are choosing to be effective over being right. Because in the long run, your kids won't remember that one time you won an argument over a holiday schedule, but they will remember a childhood defined by peace and stability, or one defined by conflict and tension. They will remember seeing their dad handle a difficult situation with grace and maturity. By treating your co-parenting relationship like a professional partnership, you are giving your children an incredible gift. You are lowering the conflict in their lives, which study after study shows is the single biggest factor in how well kids adjust to divorce. And you are modeling for them how to handle disagreements with respect and dignity. This is your new job. It's the most important job you'll ever have. And it has nothing to do with your feelings for your ex, and everything to do with your love for your kids. Mastering this is the key that unlocks the next stage. Rebuilding your own life, not just as a dad, but as a man. And that starts with reclaiming your space, both physically and mentally. Starts with the four walls you now call home. That first night you walk into the house, your house, after it's all been decided, is one of the quietest nights of your life. It's a deafening silence. The air is thick with the ghosts of arguments, the echoes of laughter, the phantom smell of a meal you once shared. Every chair, every picture on the wall, every scuff mark on the floor is a hyperlink to a memory. And for a while, you're not living in a home. You're living in a museum of a life that no longer exists. This is the ghost house phase. And it's dangerous. It's where men get stuck. Many guys go one of two ways. They either change nothing, preserving the house like a time capsule, torturing themselves with 1,000 daily reminders of what they've lost. Or they swing to the opposite extreme. They purge everything, sell the couch, the dining table, and end up with a single folding chair, a TV on a cardboard box, and a mattress on the floor. This is the sad bachelor pad. It's not a home, it's a holding cell. It's a physical manifestation of defeat. Both of these paths are traps. They are monuments to the past, not workshops for the future. Your first mission as a newly single man and father is to reject both. Your mission is to turn this house, whether it's the old family home or a new, smaller apartment, from a memorial into a headquarters. Your headquarters, the launchpad for the rest of your life. This isn't about interior design. You don't need to watch HGTV or know the difference between eggshell and satin paint. This is about a declaration of independence. It's a psychological reset, and it starts with your hands. You have to perform a tactical exorcism. Start with the obvious. The pictures of the two of you. The wedding album. The little trinkets and gifts that now feel like tiny sentimental landmines. This is going to hurt. It will feel like erasing history. But you're not erasing history. You're curating it. You're deciding which parts of the past get a front row seat in your future. Pack it all into a box. You don't have to burn it, though some guys do, and I'm not here to judge, but you must get it out of your daily line of sight. Store it, give it away, whatever you need to do. But reclaim that wall space. Reclaim that shelf. Then you move to the bigger things. The shared furniture. That bed. You have to understand that bed isn't just a piece of furniture anymore. It's a stage where the final painful act of your marriage played out. The sleepless nights, the turning away from each other, the cold silence. Sleeping in that bed alone is like choosing to sleep on a battlefield after the war is over. If you can afford it, get a new mattress. It is the single best investment you can make in your new life. It's a clean slate. It's 8 hours a day where you are not physically lying in the heart of your history. If you can't afford a new one, at the very least get new sheets, a new comforter, new pillows. Something that feels, smells, and is unequivocally yours. Now look around. What in this space says anything about who you are right now? Not the we you were, but the you are becoming. Maybe you always wanted a proper leather reading chair. Find one on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe you're a musician, and your guitars have been collecting dust in a closet. Mount them on the wall. Make them art. Turn a corner of the living room into your space. Maybe you love a specific sports team, a movie franchise, a period in history. For years you compromised. You blended your taste. The blending is over. This is your chance to unblend. Your home should be a reflection of your soul. A messy work in progress, authentic soul. A fresh coat of paint in a color you choose is the cheapest therapy you can buy. It's a weekend of work that tells your brain, every single time you walk in the door, something is different here. Something is new. And now the most important part of this entire operation. Your kids' space. When your kids come to stay with you, they cannot feel like visitors. They cannot feel like they're having a sleepover at dad's weird, sad apartment. Their room is their embassy. It is their sovereign territory within your headquarters. This is non-negotiable. Even if they're with you 50% of the time or just every other weekend, that space must be theirs. Let them pick the paint color. Even if it's a hideous neon green you can't stand. Let them choose the posters. Get the Star Wars bedding, the superhero lamp. Go to Target or Walmart with them and let them build their own nest. When they are with you, they need to feel a sense of permanence and belonging. They need to know that this isn't just Dad's house. This is our house. This simple act sends a powerful message. You are not a guest in my new life. You are the center of it. Once you've reclaimed the physical space, you'll notice something incredible happens. Your mental space starts to clear up too. Clearing the clutter from your house helps clear the clutter from your head. But just like the physical space, your mental space can fall into disrepair. The old routines are gone. You come home from work and the house is empty. The instinct is to fill that void with noise, with distraction. You turn on the TV and leave it on for 6 hours. You scroll through your phone until your thumb goes numb. You open a beer and then another one. These are the new traps. They are the mental equivalent of the mattress on the floor. You must replace the old broken routines with new powerful rituals. Rituals are just routines that have meaning. They are intentional. They are acts of self-respect. Start with your mornings. The first hour of your day sets the tone for the next 16. Don't start it by looking at your phone. Don't start it by seeing a picture of your ex on social media with her friends, looking happy. That's like taking a shot of poison before breakfast. Instead, create a simple 10-minute morning ritual. Make your bed. The moment you do it, you've accomplished the first task of the day. It's a small win, but it wires your brain for more wins. Do 10 push-ups. Drink a full glass of water. Stand outside for 60 seconds and just breathe. It's not about becoming a Navy SEAL overnight. It's about starting your day with an action that says, I am in control. I am taking care of myself. The evenings are harder, especially the ones when the kids aren't there. The silence gets loud again. This is when you need to have a plan. Don't leave your evenings to chance, because chance will usually lead you to the couch and the remote. This is your time. This is the time you get to reinvest in yourself. What is one thing you've always wanted to learn? How to play the guitar. How to cook a perfect steak. A new language? YouTube University is free. There are endless tutorials. Dedicate 30 minutes every evening to learning that skill. It's not about becoming a master. It's about the process. It's about replacing passive consumption with active creation. It's about going to bed a slightly more capable, more interesting man than you were when you woke up. And for the nights you have the kids, this is where you forge the new family identity. This is where you create the memories that will eventually crowd out the painful ones. These are your rituals. Taco Tuesdays, Friday night pizza and movie night where they get to pick the movie no matter how many times you've seen it. Sunday morning pancake breakfast. Build a fort in the living room. These things seem small, but they are the bedrock of a new family culture. They are the stories your kids will tell their friends. They are the moments that reassure them that even though the family looks different, the love is still there. The stability is still there. Your home is no longer a crime scene. It's a laboratory. You're experimenting with new routines, new paint colors, new recipes, new versions of yourself. You're taking the broken pieces of your old life, and you're not trying to glue them back together. You're using them as raw material to build something new, something that is entirely, authentically, and unapologetically yours. This foundation, this headquarters you build for yourself and your children, is the most critical structure in your new world. Because from this place of stability, you can finally start to look beyond your own four walls and figure out how to reconnect with the rest of the world. You can start to rebuild your tribe. And it's a tribe you're going to desperately need, because one of the first and most brutal shocks of divorce is the silence. It's a deafening, echoing silence that settles into the spaces where laughter and conversation used to be. It's the silence of a Saturday night when the kids are with their mom and your phone, which once buzzed with invites to cookouts and dinner parties, stays dark. You scroll through social media and see pictures of the very friends you used to spend every weekend with, all of them smiling, all of them together without you. Feels like you've become a ghost in your own life. This is the great social vanishing act of divorce. It's a phenomenon that almost every divorced man I know has experienced. Your social circle, which you thought was a solid, dependable structure, reveals itself to have been built on the foundation of your marriage. And when that foundation cracks, the whole thing comes tumbling down. The couple friends are the first to go. They have to choose, or at least they feel like they have to, and it's almost always easier, less dramatic, to stick with the wife. She's often the social hub, the one who organized the get-togethers, the one who remembers the birthdays. You, the husband, were just part of the package deal. And now that the package is broken, you're the part that gets discarded. It's a bitter pill to swallow. These were people you vacation with, people whose kids grew up with your kids, people you thought would be there for you through anything. And then suddenly they're gone. The texts become formal and infrequent. The calls stop altogether. You might see them at the grocery store and they'll give you that tight, pitying smile and a quick, "Hey man, we should catch up." But you both know it's a lie. The invitation will never come. It's tempting to see this as a personal failure, as a reflection of your own worth. You think, what did I do wrong? Was I not a good enough friend? But you have to resist that impulse. This isn't about you. It's about the powerful gravitational pull of social comfort. Your divorce makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to confront the fragility of their own marriages. You are a walking, talking reminder that the life they've built could also fall apart. And for many, that's a truth too terrifying to face. So they look away. They cut you out. Not always out of malice, but out of a desperate need for self-preservation. This painful period is what I call the friendship audit. It's an involuntary, gut-wrenching inventory of every relationship in your life. And while it feels like you're losing everything, what's actually happening is a clarification. You are discovering who is a couple friend and who is your friend. You are learning the difference between an acquaintance and an ally. The allies are the ones who stay. They might be few, but they are gold. It's the college buddy who lives 3 states away but starts calling you every Tuesday just to check in. It's your brother who shows up at your door with a six-pack and says, "We're not talking about it. We're just watching the game." It's that one friend from work who pulls you aside and says, "Hey, I went through this 5 years ago. Sucks. If you ever need to just vent, my phone is on." These are your people. This is the foundation of your new tribe. Your first mission in this new world is not to go out and make 100 new friends. It's to pour your energy into these few vital relationships. Nurture them. Be honest with them. Let them help you. One of the biggest mistakes men make is trying to tough it out alone. We're conditioned to believe that asking for help is a sign of weakness. It's not. It's a sign of strength. It's admitting you're human. Call that friend. Answer that text. Accept the dinner invitation even if you feel like crawling into a hole. These connections are your lifeline. They will keep your head above water when the loneliness feels like a tidal wave. Once you've solidified that core, that small council of trusted allies, then you can begin the work of expansion. But you don't do it by going back to the old watering holes. The life you had is over. Trying to force your way back into social circles that have rejected you is a recipe for humiliation and heartache. You have to build something new. And the best place to start is with men who get it. You need to find the divorced dad underground. It's a vast, informal network of guys who have been through the same fire you're walking through right now. We're everywhere. We're at the park on a Wednesday afternoon, pushing our kids on the swings. We're in the stands at the Little League game, sitting by ourselves. We're in the checkout line at Target on a Friday night, buying poster board for a school project. And there's a quiet understanding between us. A simple nod. A knowing look that says, I see you. I know this is hard. You're not alone. Seeking out these men is not about forming a pity party or a complaint session. It's about finding solidarity. It's about having someone you can talk to who doesn't need a 2-hour explanation of what a custody exchange feels like, because he just did one himself. These are the guys you can text at 10 p.m. on a night you don't have your kids, and just say this is rough, and they'll get it. Look for local dad groups on Facebook or meetup.com. Search for men's divorce support groups in your area. It might feel awkward at first walking into a room of strangers, but the relief you'll feel when you realize you don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on a brave face is immeasurable. The second front in this campaign is to reconnect with yourself. For years, maybe decades, your identity has been husband and father. Many of your hobbies and interests were likely things you did as a couple or a family. Now you have an opportunity and a necessity to rediscover who you are. What did you love to do before you got married? What was that passion you put on the back burner because you never had the time? Now is the time. Join that jiu-jitsu gym you've always been curious about. Sign up for a woodworking class. Get back on your mountain bike. Volunteer at the animal shelter. Join a rec league for softball or basketball. The goal here is not explicitly to make friends. The goal is to do something you genuinely enjoy, something that makes you feel competent and alive. The friendships are a natural byproduct. When you're engaged in a shared activity, conversations happen organically. You're not a divorce guy. You're the new third baseman, the guy who knows how to fix a bike chain, the guy who's also trying to figure out how to build a decent dovetail joint. You connect over a shared interest, and from there a real friendship can grow. This process is slow. Takes courage. It requires you to be the new guy, to be awkward, to be vulnerable. It requires you to reach out. To be the one who says, hey, a few of us are grabbing a beer after this, you want to come? It's uncomfortable. But every time you do it, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your new life. You are actively choosing connection over isolation, and you will build a new tribe. It will be different from your old one. It will be less about cocktail parties and more about genuine support. It will be smaller but stronger. It will be made up of men who have seen the bottom and clawed their way back up. It will include old allies who proved their loyalty and new friends forged in shared passions. This tribe won't be based on social convenience. It will be built on authenticity and mutual respect. This new social structure is your safety net. It's the group that will celebrate your victories and, more importantly, hold you up during your setbacks. Because there will be setbacks. And as you start to feel more stable, more connected to a community of men who have your back, another more complicated challenge will inevitably arise. The desire to fill the gaping hole in your life not with friendship, but with intimacy. The urge to start dating again. And let's be honest, that urge can feel like a tidal wave. After months, maybe even years of feeling unwanted, disconnected, or invisible in a failing marriage, the idea of a new person. Someone who looks at you with fresh eyes, who laughs at your jokes, who wants to hear about your day, can feel like a lifeline in a cold, empty ocean. It's not just about sex, though that's certainly part of it. It's about validation. It's about feeling alive again. It's the promise of a do-over, a chance to write a new story where you're the hero, not the guy whose marriage fell apart. This pull is so strong, so primal that most men rush in. They download the apps, they start swiping, they dive headfirst into the dating pool before they've even learned to swim on their own. And this right here is one of the biggest, most predictable, and most damaging mistakes a divorced dad can make. Because before you ask, how do I start dating? You have to ask a much harder, much more important question. Am I actually ready? Jumping back in too soon isn't just a bad idea. It's a recipe for inflicting more pain on yourself, on your kids, and on some unsuspecting woman who doesn't deserve to be a bandage on your still gaping wound. So how do you know if you're just lonely, or if you're truly ready for a healthy relationship? You have to be brutally honest with yourself and look for the red flags. The first and biggest red flag is desperation. If the thought of spending another Saturday night alone feels like a punishment, you're not ready. If your happiness is entirely dependent on getting a match or a text back, you're not ready. If you're looking for a woman to fill a void in your life, you are absolutely not ready. A new relationship cannot and will not fix your loneliness. Only you can do that. A partner is supposed to be a wonderful addition to an already complete life, not the missing cornerstone of an unstable one. When you date from a place of desperation, you project neediness. You accept behavior you shouldn't. You ignore red flags in the other person because the fear of being alone is greater than your respect for yourself. The second red flag is anger. Are you still fuming about your ex? Do you find yourself ranting about her to your friends, your family, or worse, on a first date? If you're carrying that bitterness, you're essentially bringing a ghost with you to every dinner, every movie, every conversation. No woman wants to compete with the ghost of your ex-wife. She doesn't want to be your therapist or the sounding board for your unresolved rage. That anger is a poison, and it will contaminate any chance of a new, healthy connection before it even begins. You can't build a future with someone new if you're still busy trying to burn down your past. The third red flag. You're looking for a replacement. This comes in two forms. The first is looking for a replacement for your ex, someone who's just like her so you can try to recreate what you lost, or someone who is the polar opposite as a reaction against what you had. Both are traps. You're not seeing the new person for who they are. You're seeing them only in relation to your ex. The second, and far more dangerous form, is looking for a replacement mom for your kids. This is a catastrophic mistake. It is an immense unfair burden to place on a new partner. She is not a stand-in. Your kids already have a mother. Your job is to be a stable, present father, not to audition candidates for a maternal role in your children's lives. That pressure will crush a new relationship and deeply confuse your kids. So if those are the red flags, what does being ready actually look like? It doesn't mean you have to be a perfect, enlightened Zen master. It means you've done the work. The work of healing isn't passive. It's not about just letting time pass. It's an active, intentional process. It means you've sat with the discomfort of being alone and discovered that you can not only survive it, but you can actually enjoy it. You've rediscovered your own hobbies, the things that make you separate from being a husband. You've gone to the gym, you've picked up that old guitar, you've taken that weekend trip by yourself. You've learned to be your own source of happiness and stability. Doing the work means you've processed the grief of your divorce. And make no mistake, it is a grief process. It's the death of a future you planned, the death of an identity. You have to mourn it. Whether it's through therapy, a men's group, journaling, or deep conversations with trusted friends, you have to get the poison out. You have to reach a point where you can talk about your marriage and its end with a sense of peace. Not necessarily fondness, but acceptance. You can acknowledge the good parts for what they were, understand the reasons it failed without needing to assign 100% of the blame, and see it as a closed chapter of your life, not a defining failure. And most importantly, doing the work means you have solidified your new life as a single dad. Your routine with your kids is solid. Your co-parenting relationship, while maybe not perfect, is functional and stable. Your kids feel secure. They know their dad is their rock. Because here's the unvarnished truth. Their emotional stability is more important than your romantic life. Period. Until they are secure in their new reality with you. Introducing a new romantic partner is like throwing a lit match into a room full of gasoline. When you've done this work, the green lights start to appear. You'll notice you're not thinking about your ex every day. You'll find yourself genuinely happy for friends who are in loving relationships, without a trace of jealousy. The motivation to date will shift. It will no longer be a desperate need to not be alone, but a calm, confident desire to share your already awesome, well-built life with a deserving partner. You'll be looking for a co-pilot, not a passenger or a mechanic to fix your broken engine. You will have standards, not a checklist of superficial traits, but a deep understanding of the values, character, and emotional maturity you require in a partner. Because you've cultivated those things in yourself, you'll be unwilling to settle for less. You'll approach dating with a sense of curiosity and fun, not a life or death mission to find the one. The outcome of a single date won't make or break your week, because your self-worth is no longer on the table. It's locked in, built by you for you. When you reach this point, you're no longer a victim of your divorce. You're a graduate of it. You've taken the hardest experience of your life and forged it into strength, wisdom, and self-awareness. And only then, when you are whole on your own, are you truly ready to face the wild, confusing, and often brutal world of modern dating. A world that has likely changed so dramatically since you were last in it, it might as well be on a different planet. And when you first land on this new planet, the atmosphere feels thin. The gravity is all wrong. The inhabitants communicate through a series of cryptic symbols and rituals you don't understand. Welcome to the world of dating apps. For a man re-entering the dating scene after a decade or more in a marriage, swiping through profiles can feel less like looking for a connection and more like sorting through a chaotic, never-ending digital catalog of human beings. Your first challenge is building the ship you'll use to navigate this world. Your profile. This isn't like writing a resume. It's like creating a movie trailer for your life. And you only have 6 photos and a few hundred characters to do it. The temptation for a newly divorced dad is to make one of several critical mistakes. Mistake number 1. The ghost of marriage past. This is the profile where every photo clearly has an ex-wife cropped out. You see a disembodied arm around your shoulder. A picture from a family vacation where you're the only one in the frame, but you're clearly looking at someone with affection. It screams, "I am fresh out of a long-term relationship and have no recent photos of myself doing anything alone." It's an immediate red flag. Mistake number 2. The "my kids are my world" shrine. We get it. You love your kids. They are your world. But if every single photo is of you and your children, potential partners might see 2 things. First, they might feel like an intruder into an already complete family unit. Second, they'll wonder if you have any identity outside of being a dad. Who are you when the kids are with their mom? Do you have hobbies? Friends? A life of your own? You need to show that you are a whole person, and being a great dad is a part of that whole, not the entirety of it. A good rule of thumb is 1, maybe 2 clear photos that include your kids. Ideally where they're not the central focus but are part of an activity you're enjoying together. The best profiles tell a story. A photo of you on a hike says you're active. A photo of you messing around with a guitar, even if you're terrible, says you have creative interests. A photo of you out with friends shows you have a social life. You need to show, not just tell, who you are. In the bio? Keep it positive and concise. State what you're looking for honestly but lightly. Avoid bitterness, cynicism, or long lists of what you don't want. Nobody wants to be the rebound for your unresolved anger. Your profile is your billboard. Make sure it's advertising a man who is ready for a new chapter, not one who is still stuck in the last one. Once you're out there, you'll encounter a whole new lexicon of dating behaviors that can feel incredibly disorienting. You'll need to learn the new rules of engagement. Get ready for ghosting. This is when someone you've been talking to, or even been on a few dates with, simply vanishes. No explanation, no goodbye. They just stop replying to your texts and calls. It's brutal, it's disrespectful, and it's unbelievably common. The first time it happens, it can send you into a spiral of self-doubt. What did I do wrong? Was it something I said? The hard truth is, you'll probably never know. The key is to not internalize it. It's a reflection of their inability to communicate, not a verdict on your worth. Then there's breadcrumbing, where someone gives you just enough attention, an occasional like on a photo, a random text every few weeks, to keep you interested, but with no intention of ever actually meeting or building something real. It's a form of emotional manipulation designed to keep you on the back burner. And you'll encounter the situationship, a vague, undefined relationship that has all the hallmarks of dating without any of the commitment or labels. It's more than a hookup, but less than a relationship, and it can be a minefield of confusion and hurt feelings if you're looking for something serious. Navigating this requires a strong sense of self and clear boundaries. It means being willing to ask, "What are we doing here?" and being prepared to walk away if the answer isn't aligned with what you want. This is where all that work you did on yourself pays off. A man who knows his own value won't tolerate being ghosted or breadcrumbed. He'll see it for what it is, a sign of incompatibility, and move on, rather than letting it chip away at his already fragile post-divorce ego. And then there's the biggest question of all. When and how do you talk about being a dad? This is a source of immense anxiety for many divorced fathers. Do you put it in your profile? Do you wait until the first date? Do you let it come up naturally? The answer is to be upfront but not overbearing. Mentioning you have kids in your profile is a great filter. It immediately weeds out people who aren't open to dating a parent. It saves everyone time and potential heartache. A simple line like, "Proud dad to 2 great kids who I have 50% of the time," is perfect. It's honest, it sets expectations about your availability, and it frames fatherhood as a positive aspect of your life. On a first date, don't lead with a 20-minute monologue about your kids' soccer schedules and your custody arrangement. Your date is there to get to know you. Let them ask questions. When they do, answer them with warmth and honesty, but then guide the conversation back to other topics. Show them that you are a devoted father, but also a man with his own passions, thoughts, and dreams. They need to see a space for themselves in your life, a space that isn't already entirely occupied by your children and the logistics of co-parenting. The sheer volume of rejection in modern dating is unlike anything you've experienced before. You will be swiped left on thousands of times by people who know nothing about you. You will send messages that go unanswered. You will have promising conversations that fizzle out for no reason. You have to reframe this entire experience. You are not seeking validation. You are collecting data. Every interaction, good or bad, is just a data point that helps you refine what you're looking for and how you present yourself. It is not personal. It is a sorting mechanism. The goal isn't to get everyone to like you. The goal is to find the very, very few people with whom you have a genuine mutual connection. This means you must be prepared for the first date itself, which is no longer a grand, expensive affair. The new standard is often a low-investment, low-pressure meeting. Think coffee or a single drink on a weeknight. The purpose of this first meeting isn't to sweep someone off their feet. It's simply to verify that the person you've been texting is the same person in their pictures, and to see if a basic, in-person chemistry exists. It's a vibe check. That's it. If the vibe is good, you plan a second, more traditional date. If it's not, you both go your separate ways with minimal time, money, and emotional energy invested. This all sounds exhausting, and honestly, sometimes it is. But it's also an incredible opportunity. Dating after a divorce isn't just about finding a new partner. It's about rediscovering yourself through the eyes of others. It's about practicing your social skills, learning what you truly value in a connection, and proving to yourself that you are still desirable, still interesting, still capable of creating a spark with someone new. It's a crucial part of the rebuilding process. Each date, each conversation is a small step away from the man you were in your marriage and a step toward the man you are becoming. And as you navigate this strange new world, you'll also have to navigate its intersection with the most important part of your life, your kids. Introducing a new person into their lives is one of the most delicate and high-stakes challenges a divorced dad will ever face. Get it right and you can build a beautiful blended future. Get it wrong and you risk damaging the most precious relationships you have. The stakes couldn't be higher. So let's break down the playbook for this critical moment, because winging it is not an option. The first and most common question dads ask is, when? When is the right time? And the answer is more complex than a date on a calendar. It has nothing to do with waiting 3 months or 6 months or a year. Those are arbitrary numbers. The right time is determined by one thing and one thing only: the seriousness and stability of your new relationship. Think of it this way. For your kids, their world has already been shaken to its core. Their sense of family, of home, of stability, it's all been fractured. Your job as their father is to be a source of stability, not another earthquake. If you introduce them to a woman you've been dating for a few weeks, and then things don't work out, what happens? 2 months later, you introduce them to someone else, and then that ends. You've just created what therapists call the revolving door of partners. For a child, this is deeply confusing and emotionally damaging. They might start to get attached only to have that person ripped away. They learn that relationships are temporary and that people in their dad's life disappear. This breeds anxiety and a deep-seated fear of abandonment. So, before you even consider an introduction, you must ask yourself some hard questions. Is this person someone you see a genuine long-term future with? Have you moved past the initial honeymoon phase and seen how you handle conflict and stress together? Is this a committed partnership or a casual fling? Be brutally honest with yourself. Your kids are not a litmus test for your new relationships. They are not tools to see if a new partner is good with kids. They are children who deserve to be protected from unnecessary emotional turbulence. The relationship must be solid, stable, and secure before it ever intersects with their world. You wouldn't build a house on a foundation of wet concrete. Don't build your new family life on a relationship that isn't yet solid. Once you're certain the time is right, your very first step has nothing to do with your kids. It has to do with your ex-wife. I know for some of you that sounds like the last thing you want to do. But this is not about asking for permission. This is about responsible co-parenting. It is a simple act of respect that can prevent a world of pain down the line. You give her a simple drama-free heads up. Something like, hey, I wanted to let you know I've been seeing someone for a while now, and it's getting serious. I'm thinking about introducing her to the kids in the next few weeks, and I wanted you to hear it from me first. Why is this so critical? Because if you don't, your kids will. They'll go back to their mom's house and say, we met Dad's new friend, Sarah. And your ex will be completely blindsided. Her reaction, born of surprise or maybe hurt or anger, will be felt by your kids. They will sense her distress, and they will immediately feel like they are in the middle of a conflict. They'll feel guilty, like they've betrayed their mom by liking your new partner. By telling your ex first, you give her time to process the information privately. You allow her to prepare herself so that when the kids do talk about it, she can respond in a calm, supportive way. You are removing your children from the position of being messengers in a war zone. It's a strategic move for peace. Now for the main event, talking to your kids. This conversation needs to happen a few days before the planned meeting. Don't spring it on them in the car on the way to the park. Sit them down in a calm and familiar place and be direct. The most important message you need to send is one of reassurance. You have to look them in the eye and say, "You are the most important thing in my life. You are my number one priority, and that will never ever change. I love you more than anything." You have to say those words. They need to hear them. Then you can explain the situation in simple, age-appropriate terms. "I've made a new friend who is very special to me, and I would love for you to meet her. Her name is Sarah." Frame it as an introduction to your friend, not their new mom. This is a critical distinction. The idea of a new mom can feel like a profound betrayal to their biological mother and a threat to their entire identity. So use the word friend. Then you shut up and you listen. Ask them how they feel about it. And be prepared for anything. They might be curious. They might be angry. They might be scared you're going to stop loving them. They might burst into tears and say they miss their mom. Whatever their reaction is, your job is to validate it. Don't say, "Don't be silly," or "You have nothing to worry about." Instead say, "I understand why you feel that way. It makes sense that you're sad. It's okay to feel that way." You are their emotional anchor. Let them express their fears without judgment. Only then can you gently reassure them again. When the day of the first meeting arrives, the three most important rules are location, duration, and pressure. The location must be neutral, low stakes, and fun. Do not have her come to your house for the first meeting. Your home is your kids' safe space, their sanctuary. Bringing a stranger into it can feel like an invasion. Instead, go to a park, a bowling alley, an ice cream shop. Pick an activity-based outing where the focus isn't on forced conversation. It's on throwing a bowling ball or eating a sundae. The activity itself becomes a buffer, easing the tension. Second, duration. Keep it short. An hour, maybe 90 minutes tops. The goal is not a marathon bonding session. It's a brief, positive introduction. You want to leave them wanting more, not feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. It's like dipping a toe in the water, not throwing them in the deep end. Third, and most importantly, pressure. There should be zero pressure. No pressure on your kids to be charming or talkative. No pressure on your new partner to be the fun, cool stepmom. And absolutely no public displays of affection from you. To your kids, seeing you kiss or be overly touchy-feely with a new woman can feel jarring and deeply uncomfortable. It visually confirms their parents are never, ever getting back together, and can feel like a direct betrayal of their mom. A simple handhold might be okay, but for this first meeting, keep the focus entirely on the kids and the shared activity. You are the bridge between them. Your job is to facilitate a light, easy interaction, not force a connection. After the meeting is over and you've dropped your partner off, the work continues. The car ride home is your opportunity for a gentle debrief with the kids. Ask simple, open-ended questions like, "So what did you think?" Or "Wasn't that a fun bowling alley?" Listen to what they say and what they don't say. If they say they had fun but don't mention your partner, that's okay. If they say they didn't like her, don't get defensive. Just listen and acknowledge their feelings. "Okay, I hear you." The key from this point forward is to go painfully slow. Don't immediately start having her over for dinner every night or bringing her to every one of your weekends. The next several meetings should follow the same formula. Short, activity-based, low-pressure outings. Let the relationship develop organically, at your children's pace, not yours. You have to earn their trust and comfort. And through it all, you must fiercely protect your one-on-one time with them. They need to know through your actions that this new person is an addition to your life, not a replacement for them. Schedule time that is just for you and the kids with no one else around. That dedicated time is the ultimate reassurance. It tells them louder than any words that your sacred bond is, and always will be, unbreakable. This isn't just about managing an introduction. It's about thoughtfully and patiently weaving a new person into the fabric of your family, one thread at a time. And as you weave these new threads, you'll realize you're not just repairing an old tapestry. You're creating an entirely new one. A masterpiece defined not by what was torn away, but by the strength of the new patterns you're creating. This brings us to the final and perhaps most crucial pillar of your new life, building your own kingdom. I'm not just talking about your house or your apartment. I'm talking about your future, your legacy. Let's start with the foundation, your finances. For so many divorced dads, this is the monster under the bed. The numbers on a spreadsheet can feel like a daily reminder of what's been lost. The child support payments, the alimony, the cost of running a second household. It can feel like you're running a marathon with a piano on your back. The dream of a comfortable retirement, of leaving something for your kids, can feel like it evaporated overnight. But I want you to reframe this. Right now, this isn't a story of financial ruin. This is the story of your financial rebirth. You are the architect of a new kind of wealth, one built on resilience, not just revenue. First, you must face the beast. No more avoiding the bank statements. No more guessing. You need a budget, and not some restrictive, soul-crushing document that makes you feel poor. I'm talking about a freedom plan. Every dollar needs a job. Some dollars will have the job of keeping the lights on. Others will have the job of paying for your son's soccer cleats. But you must assign some dollars the most important job of all: building your future. Even if it's just $20 a week into a separate savings account. Even if it's just rounding up your purchases and sweeping the change into an investment app. The amount is less important than the act. The act of paying yourself first is a declaration of self-worth. It's you telling the universe that you are building something that will last. This is your chance to model financial intelligence for your children in a way you never could before. Let them see you making smart choices. Talk to them about it in age-appropriate ways. Dad is putting money into a special account, so we can go on a great vacation next year. Dad is saving up for a new car, so I'm making coffee at home instead of buying it. You're not complaining about money. You're demonstrating control over it. You are teaching them that circumstances don't dictate your destiny. Your choices do. You're building a new financial fortress, brick by painstaking brick. And inside that fortress isn't just money. It's security. It's peace of mind. It's the ability to say yes to opportunities for your children without a knot of dread in your stomach. This isn't about getting rich. It's about becoming free. But the fortress you build isn't just financial. The most important reconstruction happens within you. Divorce is a crucible. It burns away the non-essential. It forces you to look at the man in the mirror and ask the hardest questions. Who am I without my old life? What parts of me were holding me back? What kind of man do I want to be now? This is not a moment for shame or regret. This is your moment of forging. The heat and the pressure are creating something new, something stronger. Think about it. The man who went into this trial is not the man who will emerge. You've learned to cook new meals, maybe even braid hair. You've learned to listen on a different level, to hear the unspoken fears and hopes in your children's voices. You've learned to be self-reliant in ways you never imagined. You've learned to sit with your own loneliness and discover that you can, in fact, survive it. You can even find peace in it. These are not small things. These are superpowers. You must now consciously step into the role of the man you are becoming. This means taking radical ownership of your own well-being. Your physical health is no longer an option. It's a requirement. You need the energy, the strength, the stamina to be the active, present father your kids deserve. Find a physical outlet. Lift weights. Run. Join a basketball league. Punch a heavy bag. Move the stress and grief out of your body. Your mental health is the command center. Find a therapist, a men's group, a trusted friend. You cannot carry this burden alone. And showing your kids that it's strong to ask for help is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. And rediscover who you are outside of being a dad. What did you love to do before you got married? What hobby did you put on a shelf? Pick up that guitar. Go fishing. Work on that old car. Read books about history. When your kids see you investing in your own happiness, you are teaching them a vital lesson. That a fulfilling life is made of more than just obligations. You are modeling a complete, healthy, and thriving version of manhood. You are showing them that life doesn't end after a setback. In many ways, it's just beginning. You're not the divorced dad. You're the dad who is also a musician, an athlete, a chef, an adventurer. You are becoming a more interesting, more resilient, and more complete man. And that is the man your children will be proud to call their father. Ultimately, everything we've talked about, the co-parenting, the communication, the new relationships, the financial rebuilding, the personal growth, it all funnels down into one single powerful concept: your legacy. When your children are grown, sitting with their own families, what will be the story they tell about you? What will be the story they tell about this period of their lives? Will they say, "My parents' divorce broke our family"? Or will they say, "My parents' divorce was hard, but it gave me 2 happy homes instead of 1 unhappy one"? It showed me my dad's true strength. Will they remember a father who was bitter, angry, and lost? Or will they remember a father who, in the face of his greatest challenge, rose? A father who learned to cook their favorite meal, who showed up to every single game, who built a new life from the ground up with dignity and grace. Your legacy isn't the house they grew up in. It's not the money you'll leave behind. Your true legacy is the feeling they have when they think of you. It's the lessons you modeled. It's the resilience you tattooed on their hearts through your own example. It's the unshakable knowledge that they were, and always will be, the absolute center of your world, loved unconditionally in two separate homes. That is the story you are writing right now. With every patient conversation, with every meal you cook, with every bill you pay, with every time you choose growth over bitterness. This journey you're on is not a detour from your life. This is your life. It is the defining chapter that will shape everything that comes after. The pain is real. The struggle is immense. But the opportunity is even greater. The opportunity to build a bond with your children of profound depth and honesty. The opportunity to become the man you were always meant to be. You are the hero of your children's story. Not a perfect hero, but a real one. One who gets knocked down and gets back up stronger than before. You are the safe harbor. You are the steady hand. You are the architect of a new beginning. Look at the road ahead. It is not an empty path of loss. It is a blank page. And you hold the pen. Now go and write a beautiful story.